Hi, this is Coach Williams coming to you with an informational video about how we're going to get started with our off-season workouts here at Forest High School. I got a lot of information to go over today. Please bear with me. Please watch the video in its entirety, and then I'll give you some forms that we're going to have to sign, some paperwork we're going to have to do that get turned in before we get started, and I'll go over all that. First thing I want to say is please bear with us. It's going to be a very different summer. There's going to be a bit of a learning curve. We got a lot of new rules and procedures that we're going to have to follow, but the good thing is we're going to be able to get started very soon. The basic information is we're going to work out starting on June 10th with all returning players and upperclassmen, and then on June 22nd with all incoming ninth graders. The schedule will be Monday through Thursday. There will be a morning session and an afternoon session for students to choose from. You're only going to come to one of them. Our morning session to start out will start at 7 a.m. and will be approximately 90 minutes. The afternoon session will start at 7 p.m. and also go approximately 90 minutes. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays we are completely off. For this first section, it's going to basically just be lifting weights and running. The county and our school has come up with a plan to basically break the summer workouts into phases that they're calling quarters. We are currently right now in quarter one, where I'm basically giving you all the forms and all the information that I can give you, answering any questions in order for us to get started. Quarter two is going to start on the 10th, and at that point we will have to break students up into groups with a 1-to-10 ratio, 1 coach to 10 players. We'll break up into stations. We'll have a group in the weight room, we'll have groups outside, we'll spread out, and we'll be able to get our work done and rotate through the workouts that way. Some of the details though that I really need everyone to know and understand. 1, the entry point. Only the main gate to the school is going to be open. Obviously that's going to be the only gate you're able to use. Please, parents and players who drive, you must drive around to the back of the student parking lot. No students can park or be dropped off in the back of the cafeteria. You're going to have to be in the student parking lot. Come through the gate near the ticket booth and to the field house. Parents, you are not allowed to stay on campus. You must drop your student off and leave. If you do choose to stay, because you have to, you must remain in that parking lot and you must remain in your car. We are trying to get students to be dropped off and picked back up at the end of the workout. All the other gates will be locked. You're going to have to use those gates. Cooling stations will be set out. There will be coolers of water. There will be cups provided for emergency situations, but we are asking that all students please bring their own cups, their own water bottles, their own jugs. Also, please bring a bag with all your stuff in it. We're not going to be using locker rooms. We're asking students to show up ready, dressed to work out. If they need to bring a change of shoes or a change of clothes or a towel or water bottle, please bring all of that stuff in one bag and keep the bag with you at all times. Please understand the water fountains will not be used. They will be turned off. So we will have filling stations where coaches wearing gloves can refill water bottles for students, but we are encouraging all students to please bring large water bottles and bring it with them, have their name on it, keep them with them at all times. Let's see, hand sanitizing stations and washing stations will also be provided throughout the campus. We of course are going to do everything we can do to make sure that kids are using lots of hand sanitizer and washing up, keeping everything as sanitary as possible. Students will only be able to enter the field house through one set of doors. They will exit through the other set of doors. There will be hand sanitizer at both locations. There will be coaches trying to keep up with the students as they rotate, making sure that there's no kids crossing paths. We'll be making sure that we're doing social distancing. All of the equipment will be sterilized and sprayed down throughout the workouts, in between students oftentimes, and definitely before and after workouts. So we're going to take every precaution that we can to make sure that everything is sanitized and cleaned. There's going to be rules about the restroom. Again, they're trying to keep all the students out of the locker room. In our field house, that's where our restroom is. So we will be allowed to walk into the locker room, but we're not using those facilities to change clothes. We're not storing clothes in the locker rooms. We will not be showering. Students will be allowed to access the bathroom, one student at a time. Okay, there's going to be protocols in place for any student showing any COVID-19 symptoms. There will be a form that all students are going to have to fill out. That's a screening form. That will be a one-time thing that will be provided for you on our Facebook page and our team app, and hopefully also our Twitter. Students, we're asking for communication. If you're not feeling well, if you think you're running a fever, other symptoms that we'll go over, stomach ache, headache, all that stuff, we ask that you please communicate that with your coaches, and we will put you through to the right people and make sure we get you checked out. There's a lot more information I can give any students that are feeling any symptoms at that point. Parents, students, please make sure that your physicals are good. Every summer we have a lot of students trying to come on campus and work out, and they show up, their paperwork is not done. This summer there's going to be an extra emphasis put on paperwork, especially physicals as always, the EL2, the EL3, the physical. All this information is on the school website. It's also on our Facebook page and our team app. Please have these forms filled out, ready to go. Students, if your physical is not expired yet, you are still fine. They last a calendar year. If you do not know if your physical is expired, I do have all the expiration dates posted in the field house. Please come and check. But to come on campus at all, you're going to have to sign the papers saying that you watched this video. That's also provided. And you're going to have to do the screening form that is provided on the link as well. Got through that. Okay, so the breakdown of the quarters. As I mentioned earlier, we are already in quarter one, which is basically me getting the paperwork and as much information to you as I can as possible. We enter quarter two on Wednesday the 10th. We'll have 90-minute workout sessions with a 1-to-10 ratio. The groups will not change. We will not be allowed to be outside between 10 and 5, which is why we're doing our workouts early in the morning and then late in the evening to avoid running into those rules at all. Keep in mind, June 15th and 16th, there will be no on-campus activities with athletics because of graduation. I'll remind the students that as well. During quarter two, we will be allowed to lift, we will be allowed to run. We will not be doing certain exercises in the weight room, which I'll explain once we get in there, because there's certain rules about spotting and the students being too close together, but there are plenty of things that we are able to do in quarter two. Once quarter three starts, which will be June 22nd. That is when we'll be joined by the incoming ninth graders. A lot of stuff stays the same, still 1-to-10 ratio with students and coaches. The groups will not change once they're set. We'll rotate through workout stations without changing groups. The workout time expands to 2.5 hours, and there's some more exercises and more equipment that we're allowed to use in quarter three. And also we're allowed to start using the footballs and throwing and catching and doing some other stuff like that. The number of students we can have outsides expands to 50, so 10 inside up to 50 outside, so we shouldn't have any issues with numbers. And then quarter four will finally start on July 27th, which is basically when the official football season starts, and we'll be able to return to normal activities. I will say that some of these procedures could change. There is a chance that they could tighten up. There's a chance they could loosen up. But as of right now, that is our plan going forward. I will be contacting some of you to discuss the best times for certain position groups to come in and try to group us together. But the main thing is that we get a chance to all get back together and get back in the weight room. We're very excited to finally have an opportunity to do that. I'm going to provide my phone number and email address at the end of this video. Please feel free to give me a call because there's a ton of information. I went over it very quickly, very briefly. But basically, if we follow all the guidelines that I followed today, we'll be doing everything and more to keep students safe and following all the state statutes and guidelines set from the state and the county. Thank you, and please feel free to call or email if you have any questions.